Hello there, and welcome to today's story. Today we'll explore an alternate timeline where General Grievous defeats Obi-Wan Kenobi on Utapau. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Now let's dive in. Our story begins on Utapau. A cold blue hologram flickered to life within the depths of Utapau's hidden command chamber. General Grievous loomed over it, his mechanical frame hunched and twitching as the image of Darth Sidious stared back at him. The Separatist leaders must be moved to Mustafar immediately, Sidious said, his voice calm but edged with warning. The Jedi and the Republic are closing in. It is only a matter of time before they discover your location. Grievous's eyes narrowed. Let them come, he rasped. I am prepared to destroy whatever the Jedi send. Do not be overconfident, Sidious replied. Survive. The war depends on it. The hologram vanished. For a brief moment, silence filled the chamber. Then Grievous turned sharply, issuing rapid commands. Elite commando droids were deployed across Utapau's city, on ledges, towers, landing platforms, and hidden alcoves. Each was equipped with long-range sniper rifles, programmed to track movement and eliminate priority targets. Wherever Grievous moved, unseen eyes would follow. High above the planet, a single Jedi starfighter broke through the clouds and descended into the vast sinkhole city. Obi-Wan Kenobi guided the craft down with practiced calm, though the force felt heavy around him. He landed on an open platform surrounded by motionless battle droids. The Utapau Prime Minister approached, visibly shaken. I am Obi-Wan Kenobi, Obi-Wan said respectfully. With your kind permission, I should like some fuel and to use your city as a base as I search nearby systems for General Grievous. The Prime Minister hesitated, glancing behind him before leaning in. The Separatist army is holding us captive, he whispered. We have no choice but to cooperate. Obi-Wan absorbed the words, his expression steady. Thank you, he said quietly. I will take it from here. Turning away, Obi-Wan activated his communicator. This is Obi-Wan Kenobi to the Republic fleet. I've confirmed Grievous' presence. I'm sending my ship back. Prepare to engage when you receive my signal. The starfighter lifted off moments later, leaving Obi-Wan completely alone. He snuck above the city's central plaza. Thousands of droids stood below him, their blasters lowered but ready. Obi-Wan jumped down and ignited his lightsaber, the familiar hum steadying his mind. Hello there. General Grievous turned to him. Ah, General Kenobi, he snarled. You are a bold one. Obi-Wan looked up at him, calm and resolute. This war ends now, General. Surrender and spare this planet further suffering. Grievous' claws flexed. You will die here, Jedi. For a brief moment, everything seemed frozen. The droids waiting, the two enemies facing one another. Then the sky erupted with thunder. Republic gunships screamed down into the city, blaster fire raining from above as clone troopers poured into the streets. Explosions tore through the droid lines, and the Battle of Utapau began in full. Grievous recoiled with a furious snarl as Obi-Wan turned and leapt into the fray. The hunt had begun. Blaster fire echoed through the sinkhole city as the Battle of Utapau surged to life. Clone troopers of the 212th advanced in tight formations, cutting down waves of battle droids while gunships hovered overhead, unleashing rockets into fortified positions. Smoke and debris filled the air. Obi-Wan moved through the chaos with practiced precision, his lightsaber flashing blue as droids fell one by one. But his focus was not on the army around him. He could feel Grievous. The droid general scuttled across the battlefield with unnatural speed, leaping from platform to platform, taunting Obi-Wan as he retreated deeper into the city. Obi-Wan followed relentlessly, deflecting blaster bolts and vaulting across collapsing walkways as explosions rocked the stone beneath his feet. Run while you can, General, Obi-Wan called out. There's no escape this time. Grievous' harsh laughter echoed back. On the contrary, Jedi, I have been planning for this. The chase led them to a wide landing platform near the edge of the sinkhole. A separatist shuttle waited there, engines warming, an escape already prepared. Grievous turned at last, igniting 4 stolen lightsabers. Obi-Wan raised his own, and the two clashed in a storm of sparks and motion. Grievous attacked with ferocious speed, his spinning blades forcing Obi-Wan back step by step. The platform shook as blaster fire and distant explosions thundered around them. With a sudden violent strike, Grievous knocked Obi-Wan's lightsaber from his hand. The weapon skidded across the platform and vanished over the edge into the abyss below. Obi-Wan didn't hesitate. He ducked beneath a spinning blade, rolled across the ground, and drove a force-powered kick into Grievous's chest, sending the general crashing into a control console. Metal crumpled. Grievous snarled, recovering quickly as Obi-Wan pressed the attack, striking with fists, elbows, and the Force itself. The two collided in brutal hand-to-hand combat. Obi-Wan seized a blaster Grievous had dropped during the struggle and slid across the platform, coming to a stop on one knee. He raised the weapon, aiming straight at Grievous's head. It was over. Then, a sharp crack cut through the air. Pain exploded across Obi-Wan's back as a blaster bolt struck him. His breath caught, his vision blurring. Slowly, he turned. High on a distant ledge stood a commando droid, its sniper rifle still smoking. Before Obi-Wan could react, a second shot slammed into his chest. The blaster slipped from his fingers as he fell backward onto the cold stone. Grievous stepped forward, looming over the fallen Jedi. He picked up the blaster, tilting his head as he studied Obi-Wan's wounded form. "Did you truly believe I would face you without preparation?" Grievous rasped. "The Jedi, the Republic, all of you will burn." Obi-Wan tried to speak, to summon the Force one last time, but his body would not respond. Grievous raised the blaster. A single shot echoed across the platform. Obi-Wan Kenobi lay still. With a final, satisfied laugh, General Grievous turned and disappeared back into the battle, leaving the fallen Jedi behind as the war raged on. The smoke began to clear over the landing platform as the fighting shifted deeper into the city. Clone troopers advanced cautiously, blasters raised, scanning for threats. Commander Cody was among them. He spotted the body almost immediately. Obi-Wan Kenobi lay where he had fallen, robes torn, lifeless eyes staring up at the gray Utapau sky. Cody froze. For a moment, the sounds of battle faded into nothing but a dull ringing in his ears. He knelt beside his general, his expression tight with disbelief. Slowly, respectfully, Cody reached out and closed Obi-Wan's eyes. "I'm sorry, sir," he said quietly. "We should have been here sooner." His hand trembled as he activated his communicator. "This is Commander Cody to the Jedi Council," he said, voice strained but steady. "General Kenobi has fallen. General Grievous is still active and has retreated back into the city." On Coruscant, the message hit like a shockwave. Mace Windu stood in a hangar with 3 other Jedi Masters, preparing to leave for the Chancellor's office. The words echoed in his mind, "Kenobi has fallen." For a long moment, Windu said nothing. He closed his eyes, lowering his head in quiet respect for a fallen brother. Then he straightened. "Do what you can to retake Utapau," he told Cody through the comm. "We will deal with the consequences here." The transmission ended. Windu turned to the others, his face grim. "With Grievous still alive, the Senate will cling to Palpatine's emergency powers. We can't afford delay, but we also can't ignore what this means." Before anyone could respond, hurried footsteps echoed through the hangar. Anakin Skywalker approached, fear and confusion written plainly across his face. Windu turned toward him. "Anakin," he said, studying him carefully. "Something's wrong. What happened?" Anakin swallowed hard. "The Chancellor. He's the Sith Lord we've been looking for." The hangar went silent. Windu's eyes sharpened. "Are you certain?" "Yes," Anakin said. He knows the ways of the Force. Windu exhaled slowly. The pieces were finally falling into place. Palpatine was never going to surrender his power willingly. Anakin hesitated, then asked quietly, "And what of Obi-Wan's mission?" Windu stepped closer and placed a hand on Anakin's shoulder. "I'm sorry," he said. Obi-Wan was defeated by General Grievous. The words hit Anakin like a blade. His breath caught, his mind raced, grief twisted into anger, and anger boiled over. He clenched his fist, eyes burning. "This is your fault," Anakin snapped. "You should have sent me with him." "Anakin," Windu warned, stepping back, "control yourself." Too late. Anakin surged forward and struck Windu across the face. The other Jedi moved instantly, restraining him before he could do more. Anakin struggled, fury and despair pouring out of him. "Enough!" Windu commanded. Temple guards were summoned. Anakin was dragged away, shouting Obi-Wan's name as the doors closed behind him. Windu stood still, jaw tight, the weight of the galaxy pressing down on him. Everything was unraveling. The doors to the Chancellor's office slid open with a sharp hiss. Mace Windu entered first, his expression hard and unyielding. Behind him followed Kit Fisto, Sayes 18, and Aegon Kohler. The office was quiet, too quiet, its vast windows overlooking the endless lights of Coruscant. At the center of the room stood Palpatine, hands folded calmly behind his back. "Chancellor Palpatine," Windu said, his voice steady, "you are under arrest for treason against the Republic." Palpatine turned slowly, a thin smile spreading across his face. "Are you threatening me, Master Jedi?" "The Senate will decide your fate," Windu replied. Palpatine's smile twisted into something dark. "I am the Senate." In a blur of motion, Palpatine leapt forward, a crimson blade igniting midair. His speed was terrifying. Sayes 18 and Aegon Kohler barely had time to react before Palpatine struck them down in a single vicious assault. They fell lifeless to the floor. Windu and Fisto moved instantly, blades igniting as they surrounded the Sith Lord. The room exploded into motion. Lightsabers clashed, sparks flying as Palpatine unleashed years of hidden fury. He drove the two Jedi back with relentless aggression, his power in the dark side overwhelming. Windu fought with controlled intensity, absorbing Palpatine's attacks, searching for an opening. Palpatine suddenly shifted, releasing a burst of Force energy that sent Windu crashing into a wall. For a heartbeat, everything slowed. Palpatine turned to finish Windu. Kit Fisto stepped forward. With a determined look, Fisto blocked Palpatine's strike and drove his own blade forward, piercing the Sith Lord through the chest. Palpatine cried out in shock and fury, but in the same moment, his blade struck true as well, plunging into Fisto. The two collapsed together. Silence filled the office. Windu forced himself to his feet, staring at the bodies before him. He knelt beside Fisto, placing a hand on his chest and closed his eyes. "May the Force be with you," Windu whispered. A sudden beeping broke the silence. Windu turned toward Palpatine's desk. A transmission was coming through. He hesitated only a moment before activating it. The towering image of General Grievous appeared in the hologram. The droid general stiffened in surprise. "You," Grievous snarled. "Where is my master?" "Sidious is dead," Windu said coldly. "Surrender yourself, General. End this war." Grievous' eyes narrowed. "You lie. There is nowhere left for you to hide," Windu replied. "The Republic will hunt you down." Grievous cut the transmission without another word. Windu immediately began tracking the signal. Coordinates locked in. Mustafar. As the Jedi Master turned and strode from the office, the truth settled heavily on him. The Sith were gone, but the war was not yet over. The holding chamber beneath the Jedi Temple was quiet, lit only by soft panels along the walls. Anakin Skywalker sat on a bench, shoulders slumped, hands trembling as grief and anger warred inside him. The echo of Obi-Wan's death replayed in his mind again and again. The door slid open. Padme Amidala stepped inside, her face pale with shock, but her eyes filled with concern. She sat beside Anakin without speaking at first, gently taking his hand. "I'm so sorry," she said softly, "about Obi-Wan." Anakin swallowed hard. "He trusted me," he whispered, "and I wasn't there." Silence hung between them before Anakin finally spoke again, his voice breaking. "All I ever wanted was to save you. I've seen it, Padme. Your death. I tried everything to stop it." Padme turned to him, gripping his hand tighter. "The only thing that could ever hurt me," she said firmly, "is if you lose yourself. Obi-Wan believed in you. Don't turn away from the light now." Anakin closed his eyes. Then he felt it, a calm presence, familiar, warm. Anakin. His eyes snapped open. "Obi-Wan?" There was no one there, but he could hear the voice clearly, steady and reassuring. "Trust in the Force. Trust in yourself." Tears welled in Anakin's eyes as the weight on his chest finally eased. The door opened again. Mace Windu entered, his expression weary but resolute. He looked from Padme to Anakin, then spoke. "The others didn't survive," Windu said quietly. "Kit Fisto gave his life to end the Sith." Anakin lowered his head. "I failed you," he said. "I failed the Order." Windu studied him for a long moment. Then he shook his head. "No, you lost your way, but you found it again." He placed a datapad on the bench beside Anakin. "I know where General Grievous is. Mustafar." Anakin looked up sharply. "Let me come with you." Windu hesitated, then nodded. "You saved me once already, even if you don't realize it yet. I won't face this alone." Later in the hangar, clone troopers of the 501st prepared for deployment. Anakin stood with Padme one last time, fear still lingering behind his eyes. "I'll come back," he promised. Padme smiled through her worry and kissed him. "I know." As the gunship's engines roared, Windu watched Anakin in silence. For the first time, he truly understood the weight the young Jedi carried and the man he was becoming. Ahead of them waited fire, darkness, and the final battle of the Clone Wars. The lava world of Mustafar burned beneath a sky choked with ash as a massive Republic fleet tore out of hyperspace above the planet. Capital ships opened fire immediately, green and red bolts streaking across space as Separatist defenses answered in kind. The final battle had begun. Republic gunships, marked with the colors of the 501st, plunged through the atmosphere. Inside one of them stood Mace Windu and Anakin Skywalker, silent and focused as the ground rushed up to meet them. They landed amid fire and chaos. Clone troopers poured into the industrial complex, blasting through ranks of battle droids as molten lava glowed through cracked platforms and vents. Anakin and Windu led from the front, cutting down droids with swift, decisive strikes. This was no reckless charge. This was an ending. Deep within the complex, the Separatist leaders watched the assault unfold in terror. With nowhere left to run, they surrendered to advancing clone forces, the last political leaders of the Confederacy taken into custody. But the war was not over yet. At the heart of the facility, General Grievous paced back and forth, claws scraping against metal. Dooku was dead. Sidious was gone. The Sith, the Separatists, everything he had served had collapsed. All that remained was vengeance. The doors hissed open. Anakin and Windu stepped inside, lightsabers igniting in unison. Grievous turned, his yellow eyes burning. "So," he snarled, extending all four arms as stolen lightsabers flared to life, "the last of the Jedi come for me, just like Kenobi." Anakin stiffened, but he didn't lose focus. Grievous attacked with terrifying speed, spinning and leaping, driving the two Jedi apart. Lava light reflected off whirling blades as the duel spilled onto an exterior platform overlooking rivers of fire. Windu met Grievous head-on, absorbing the general's fury, while Anakin struck from the side, forcing Grievous to divide his attention. Still, Grievous was relentless. With a sudden burst of power, Grievous battered Anakin back and locked blades with Windu alone. Sparks flew as Grievous overpowered him, metal limbs driving Windu to one knee. One blade rose high, poised to strike the killing blow. "Another Jedi falls," Grievous hissed. "No." Anakin surged forward. He leapt between them at the last possible second, catching Grievous' blade and shoving it aside. The impact sent shockwaves through the platform. Windu rolled clear as Anakin pressed the attack, rage and resolve burning together, but controlled. The moment broke Grievous's momentum. Windu rose, centered, and together the two Jedi advanced as one. Their strikes were precise, relentless, overwhelming. In a blur of motion, Windu severed two of Grievous's arms. Anakin followed, slicing through the remaining limbs and driving Grievous back against the railing. The droid general staggered, sparks and smoke pouring from his frame. Anakin and Windu exchanged a single look. Then they moved. Both Jedi stepped forward and drove their lightsabers into Grievous' chest at the same time. The general let out a final mechanical scream as his eyes flickered wildly, then went dark. General Grievous collapsed, lifeless. The platform fell silent except for the distant sounds of battle fading away. Windu deactivated his blade, breathing deeply. He looked at Anakin. "It's over." Anakin stared at Grievous' body, then out across the burning horizon. The war that had defined his life was finally finished, and he had chosen the light. Together, the two Jedi turned and rejoined the clone forces as the last shots of the Clone Wars echoed into silence. The war ended quietly. Across the galaxy, separatist holdouts powered down as the news spread. General Grievous was dead. The Clone Wars, years of bloodshed and fear, were finally over. On Coruscant, the Senate convened in emergency session. With the Sith revealed and Palpatine's hidden crimes laid bare, the chamber fell into shock and outrage. Holo-recordings, testimonies, and seized data exposed the truth of the war, that it had been manipulated from the shadows from the very beginning. When the votes were cast, the Senate chose a new path forward. Bail Organa was elected Chancellor of the Republic, tasked with healing a fractured galaxy and restoring trust in its institutions. Emergency powers were dissolved. The age of fear came to an end. Not long after, in a quiet apartment overlooking the lights of Coruscant, Padme Amidala went into labor. Anakin waited outside the room, pacing, his thoughts racing despite the peace that had finally come. The visions that once haunted him still lingered in the back of his mind, but they no longer controlled him. At last, the door opened. Two newborn cries filled the air. Anakin stepped inside, breath catching as he saw them. Two small lives wrapped in blankets, safe, alive. Padme looked up at him, exhausted but smiling. "They're beautiful," she said. Anakin fell to his knees beside her, overwhelmed. "I was so afraid," he whispered, "of losing you, of losing everything." Before Padme could respond, footsteps approached behind him. Mace Windu stood in the doorway, his expression calm, thoughtful, not accusing. Anakin stiffened, fear flashing across his face. But Windu only stepped closer and looked down at the children. "You've fought a war since you were a boy," Windu said quietly. "You've done your duty, but the Force asks different things of us at different times." He met Anakin's eyes. "If you stay in the Order, your heart will always be divided, and that path leads to suffering." Anakin understood. Slowly, he nodded. "Then I know what I have to do." Windu placed a hand on Anakin's shoulder. "Obi-Wan believed in you to the very end. Honor him, not as a warrior, but as a man who chose compassion." Windu turned and left without another word. Later, As the sun rose over Coruscant, Anakin stood beside Padme, holding his children in his arms. For the first time in his life, the future did not terrify him. Padme looked up at him. "Are you okay?" Anakin smiled, a genuine, peaceful smile. "I've never felt better." Somewhere beyond the noise of the city, in the quiet current of the Force, Anakin felt a familiar presence, warm, approving, at peace. Obi-Wan was gone, but his legacy lived on, and that is where our story ends. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as well as comment below what you thought of the story. I'll see you in the next video. As always, may the Force be with you.